Welcome into Furniss Fastlane, our Facts Off Feelings Furniss Fastlane. We have made it to Friday yet again, somehow by the grace of God or Buddha or whatever sun god, which you do not have outside right now. But we made it to Friday, James. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal, Brooke. Thanks for having me on again. Friday, and it's cold.
It's cold, yeah. Jeff, so we might need to dub this one "Hello, Fastonians," Fastlanonians. I like this. We're gonna roll with
it.
Fastlanians. There we go. It's Friday. Like, it's been one of those weeks, and it was similar last week as well. Like Monday, I thought it was Tuesday. Tuesday, I thought it was Thursday. And then Thursday, I was like, weekend. I was like, no, it's not a weekend, Brooke. You still have Friday still to do. So between the cold and being a very long week, I am very, very excited to be here on a Friday with the one and only James Klaus. I mean, does life get any better than this? I don't think it can.
It's a good time to be alive. Let's be real. It's a good time to be alive. A lot of crazy things happening. We had an awesome hockey game last night that everybody got to watch. The wrong team won, but a lot of fun. 7 inches of snow. Jeff, that's, depending on where you live, I don't know where you live. That's a lot of snow.
Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, Colorado. Then it's great. Go skiing. Have fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congrats.
So for once, Jeff, I'm not going to say brag, but it's not warm enough to snow here. So we're not getting snow. We're just getting so Jeff used to live in Chicago. So he used to send me like these screenshots of his temperature being like 50 degrees. I was like, I hate you and love you all at the same time. So not snowing here. Just although it is sunny outside. I can't see outside. It is sunny, but I know it's a lie because it's not warm at all.
Those of us that come from cold weather climates, I'm in Minneapolis, you're in Chicago, so it's going to be hard to get much harder or cold weather than that, right? We know one thing. When the sun's out, it means it's really, really cold. And when it's really, really cold, it doesn't snow.
No, it doesn't.
And when it's so cold, it can't snow. And the air is just kind of crystally, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like there's little diamonds flying around all over you. That's cold. And then the one thing you get in Chicago that I don't get as much in Minneapolis is you get that lake wind.
Oh, so bad.
That's a different level. So guys are wonderful.
They are. The 2 months of summer that we get is fantastic. I love it. The 10 months of dying inside.
Hey, but
especially my life decisions.
We choose to live.
Yes.
And I actually love Minneapolis, full transparency.
I do. And I used to be in Minneapolis. I was an old job I had, and it was at least once a month, almost every other month I was there. And I always enjoyed Minneapolis. I'm a big fan of it. Jordan, you're asking some really difficult questions right now on a Friday to know how many it is. But coming to our rescue is our fellow Canadian, Peter Smith, saying 2.5 centimeters to the inch. Once again, Peter, you're asking us to time stuff right now. So what is that? 14, 15, 16. I don't know.
Don't engage with that comment.
We're blocking that comment right now. Ice fog. Yeah, Jeff, it is crazy to kind of like have the difference, but it is. The other day it was in the negatives and it starts like flurrying. And I was like, I don't understand. It's too cold to snow. That's not real snow. That's just I think it's a mirage because there's no way it could have been snowing at that point. It was like -10 outside. I was like, no, I'm calling bullshit on that. No. So other than the weather, how you doing there? How's life treating you?
Doing good. It's been an awesome week. I traveled all over Florida. I was in Tampa. I was in Orlando. I was in Jacksonville. Flew back last night in Minneapolis. Next week, going down to the Drive-Centric DC20 in Dallas. So really excited for that. To see our friends there. So busy.
That's a good thing. We've got a lot of mathematicians in the comments here. Math is, Jordan, I used to be really good at math. And then Brooke, yes, I'm speaking in third person, had a lot of concussions. And so all that math that I used to be really good at, now it's like 1 + 1. I'm like, oof, blue? Is that the right answer? I don't know. But I used to be good at math. Not anymore. No, not anymore.
I think you're not giving yourself much credit.
Well, it's the truth. It's between that and the memory. But anyways, we had an incredible episode that dropped. And I know that I said this yesterday in my walk and freeze on LSD yesterday, that it was so cold.
Hold on, to clarify for 1 second. When Brooke says LSD, she means Lake Shore Drive.
Yes.
Lake Shore Drive.
It's true. but it has a nice ring to it.
I
And
know.
the comments are always hilarious when people are first like, whoa, hold up, what? I'm like, oh no, now you're into it. And we will have merch at some point.
It's called marketing.
Yes, 100%. Oh no. So Mark Ferguson from Dealer World and I were talking. This is going back like a year ago, and he goes, "Oh, you didn't have like the Grateful Dead type of T-shirt and be like walk on talking LSD." I was like, "Dude, that's awesome, actually."
Mark Ferguson, I love that. He's a good guy. Hey, Peter. All right. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, there we go. Usually I expect that from Dodd, like some Woody comment there coming through, but yes, it's all good. But we did.
Akers is just as bad. I'm sorry to speak over you. Joe Akers, Jim Dodd. I hope that comment made your day. It was James is Woody. For those of you that don't know, some people think I look like Woody from Toy Story. I clearly disagree with this statement. However, I seem to be the only one who disagrees with this statement.
But on the plus side, you got Brian Ortega saying, "I can't concentrate when I fall into James Klaus's eyes."
All right. Well, we'll talk about Brian Ortega for 1 second. One big fan of Brian. If you haven't checked out the content that he creates at Valley High, it is phenomenal. But if you saw the San Francisco's 49ers commercial with Brock Purdy, their quarterback, he's in a Tacoma. Have you seen this, Brooke? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Have. Yep,
and
I do.
He releases the sunglass holder, and there's a taco in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look back and you research, Brian actually did that same exact commercial like 6 months previous. And Brian's a friend. So let's just say we've had some interesting text exchanges about how he's going to go after the 49ers for copyright infringement on his. Awesome.
Yes. And this isn't the first time. This is not the first time, because there was Brian was on the show 6 months ago or something. I don't know, Brian. I don't know. It was some point, and how Jack in the Box also, he goes, "I have a hard time believing that they did not take our stuff because it's almost identical, the same concept, everything like that." Jordan saying, "I always thought James Klaus looked like Tom Cruise." I'll go with that. You never lived until you shared an Uber in Vegas with Woody. So many questions.
All right, well, let's go back to the Brian Ortega thing, because this actually brings me back to something I wanted to talk about.
We're like now bringing it back. Okay, we are focused. We're off the rails. We're back on the rails now. Okay, go ahead.
With Brian, one of the things we were going to talk about on the show today was creative, right? Because we talked a lot on the previous show about programmatic marketing and different DSPs and how to get in front of people. And one thing we've talked a lot about is creative, and where does the creative come from, and why is the creative important, right? Well, with Brian making that comment, it really got my brain going on how important creative is and who provides the creative to the dealership. Brian is exceptional because he creates his own creative. But why is creative so important in programmatic marketing and the things that we've been talking about in OTT and online video, et cetera, streaming radio? Because first impressions, you only get one. Mm-hmm. So when you see one of Brian's ads and it's that amazing, I will stick with the taco ad, or I'm sure he's got that amazing President's Day ad. Yes, I see all of his ads. Okay, he sends them all. But he's got a great President's Day ad. That is the type of relevance to the consumer and the type of branding that really sticks with people. And when people ask me, why is creative so important? Think about brand recall. When you see one of Brian's commercials, OTT spot, etc., it's going to resound with the consumer, but it's also going to allow brand recall. So they'll remember Valley High Toyota. Those guys are fun, right? Mm-hmm. That's probably a pretty neat place to buy a car. And so there's a lot there. And then why is creative also important? Because you can A/B test. You can see this ad hits better to these type of shoppers. This ad hits better with a service customer. This ad, performs better in this DMA or this zip code, right? Or this targeted audience. So that's another reason why creative is so important. And so Brian kind of got me off on a little tangent there, but one, great job on your creative, Brian. But two, now add that creative, layer in the data that you can use with programmatic marketing. And that's what we at Loon call the max impact, because you got great creative and then you also have great data. So you're hitting the right person. Now, not every dealership has a Brian.
No, that'd be
Very
nice.
few, right? I think most of them have been on your show.
Yeah, most likely, yes.
Yeah, and they all run in the same.
All two of them, yes.
Yeah. We'll just call them out. Let's give them a big shout out. Brian,
Daniel.
Nate, you know who you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome work. So it's really important. So I just wanted to put that in there. Creative is so massive, and it's our responsibility as an agency serving dealerships to help them with their creative. And I just want to put that out there.
Well, you bring up a good point there. First off, Peter, speaking of first impressions, says Vegas, my first impression, and it stuck. So, but no, I'll say even with that is that while they have those great teams, and I've got a client that they have a whole team. It's great. And they do an awesome job with videos and content. Too often, though, is that the majority of dealerships don't have it in-house, like you said. And so all of a sudden, you made a comment in our show, and it was so true that unless you've been in the dealership, you don't understand that. And you can look outside in, but to understand that, hey, use that marketing person does the CRM, the BDC follow-up, the marketing, the staff photos, the HR, the onboard, they're every person, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, by the way, can you get us some more creative? Like, no, I can't. Like, I don't have that budget. I don't have that in-house. I cannot do that. But yet as an agency, whatever that agency is, you're expecting them to come up with that shit when that's just not even remotely feasible. But yet that gets overlooked so much.
Everybody loves to talk about placements. Everybody loves to talk about various things. Nobody wants to get down to that core element. That's probably the hardest element when you think about launching video, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you think about launching videos, where does the content come from? And that's what we have to help our clients come up with is content strategies. And when you're looking at a full media mix for a dealership, you can't run the same spot for sales and service and body shop, etc. And Brian, great point. You do need somebody at the dealership with a personality to make it stand out. That's that brand recall.
Yes.
It is massive.
Oh, it is. And we even were talking about a little bit as we went on this branding and content, is that to try to figure out what is the need of the dealership? What is that pain point? And if you're just trying to like, hey, we'll say it's service or whatever it may be, you're going to need more of a branding campaign to know, hey, not that I want my car to break down, but when it does, I'm going to ABC Motors. Oh, when I'm in the need, I just bought a car. We just talking offline. I just bought a car. So I'm not in the market for a new car. However, if I know that people start marketing me now saying, okay, she's done this, so we're going to start do a little subliminal message to her. Here, do this. And I'm like, oh yeah, what about XYZ Motors this time? I never thought about them, but their content's great. So I'm going to go back and it reminds me. And there's certain brands, as we all know, I'm a bit of obviously a Jordan fan. So I'm always going to get my Jordans at a similar spot. But let's say we're brand new into getting shoes. And so I start getting branding left and right about whatever it may be. My first thing is like, oh yeah, I should go buy it there or whatever it may be. But I think we lose sight so often of that evergreen content, especially with Amazon. That is enough good things cannot say it. When done correctly, this is a foolproof way of doing your advertising. And
you said something really.
No, it's my birthday in like 2 weeks, but Jeff, I know it's your birthday every day. And Micah, when he joins, it's Micah's birthday. So, but thank you, Jeff. I've got like a week away. It's my birthday, but thanks for being on top of it. You're the first one.
Also, and I don't know if Micah's on this call or not, but happy birthday, Micah.
Happy birthday, Micah. Happy
Micah
birthday.
Burkholtz's birthday today. I'm going to lunch with him right after this call. So yeah, we're gonna go get some pho. It's gonna be delicious on a nice cold day. So
don't freeze on the way there. Good job.
Absolutely. But you made another good point about creative, and you said branding, and I thought that was interesting because when we're talking to dealerships about OTT, streaming TV, programmatic marketing, there's different buckets, right? And one bucket is branding, and there's an audience for branding, and you're putting your message out there. But what happens, Brooke? Let's say you're back in market for a car. So you're taking in-market actions online, little cues of things going on where we now know that you're in market.
Yeah.
But you were in my branding bucket for an audience to make you aware. You change. Well, your creative should change and the messaging going to you should change. So we'll create an overarching brand message. And then as that audience evolves and goes into different buckets and you're in market, you're going to start getting hit with offers on vehicles that you would be interested in. So you see an ad for ABC Motors. You go to their website. You shop some VDPs. You look at certain types of cars. Let's say they sell Jeep Cherokees, right? Or Grand Cherokees. You leave. All of my messaging now is Jeep Grand Cherokee offers to you. You don't need the branding play anymore. Now you're into a different bucket. And guess what else changes? Your frequency. We want to hit you a little more often. Where branding, your frequency might be 1.5, right? But now your offers, you're in market, you're more competitive. I'm going to boost your frequency maybe to 3, right? Maybe 4. Get in front of you. So you got to have evergreen content with branding like you talked about, but you also need content and creative for the specific buckets. What if you go into a service bucket, right? My offers-based messaging for sales is worthless on you. I need to make sure that they call you Loon. That's awesome. You get hit with the right messages. Loon is a bird. So I can hit you with some swag if you would like. It's a bird that can dive deep. It's the state bird of Minnesota. It can stay underwater for 5 minutes. It can find prey where other birds cannot. And that's what we at Loon do. We can dive deep and find shoppers, customers that you didn't think you could get elsewhere.
So I meant to ask you, I forgot to in the episode that I was like, how did you, other than I know it's a state bird, I'm like, how did you choose Loon? Like, I don't think, hey,
I'll tell you.
Chicago bird is, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I have no idea.
Let me tell you
I'm just curious.
Let me tell you why. One, when we were thinking about Loon or how we Songbird, these comments are just hilarious.
Welcome to my audience. They're amazing.
That's fantastic. So the Loon is the state bird of Minnesota.
Okay.
When you're at the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport and you're picking up your bags, they actually does the Loon call when you're picking up your bags. That's how you know. Have you ever noticed the bird call? Yes, that's a Loon. The soccer team in Minnesota, Minnesota United, is the Loons. It's the Loonies.
Also true.
Right?
Also true.
Loonies and Toonies. It's also money from Canada. But my thinking was this: it's different than any other logo that I see in automotive. Everybody's got a logo, and it's dealer this, dealer that, dealer that, dealer this, auto this, auto that, auto this. And if I give you a hat with that on it or a shirt, you're probably not going to wear it unless I'm paying you to wear it because you work here. But if I put a cool bird on it and it looks more like a country club logo or something you would wear or buy on your own, maybe people will wear the swag. And that's really where it came from. So something different.
Hold up, Brian. You got to rewind this comment for a hot second here. I thought one took a dump on you. Is there a story behind this?
Not for me, but hey, just
Brian, I love you, and there's got to be some type of something here, because I actually have had multiple friends that have been crapped on by birds. So I'm not sure. I had a friend, no joke, walking, and I don't know if she was like looking to look up or something, but anyways, her mouth is open. Direction.
Wow, there's a visual.
the name. I once again, Brian, I'm still confused. You've got to come back a little bit.
We might have to what time is it in California right now?
I'm like, are you drinking at this point? Like, what's going on?
Is he on vacation?
I don't know.
There's something going on. I'll call him.
All I know is whatever you're smoking is you better freaking share it with us is all I'm going to ask. That's all I ask right now.
I don't think he even knows right now.
So yeah, streaming an OTT. Back to that. So hold up. We've got James had an epitome.
Epitome.
It's good luck.
It is good luck. Supposedly.
I've heard that.
Yep.
I'm good without it.
I have watched people get pooped on the golf course before by birds flying over the green while we were putting. Same gentleman, my buddy Scott Ainsworth. Hi, Scotty, if you're out there.
Nice,
then yelled at our general manager of our club and said he deserves a new shirt. I didn't understand how that was played out. All right, let's put this back onto some stuff.
Okay, back on track here. So I'll say one of the things that I get asked, and this is like, it's just a pet peeve. Well, I have a lot of pet peeves, let's be honest. Yeah, and yes, Peter, it is 100% Tito times. It will be later on. Right now I am drinking water, but that liquid will turn clear in a much stronger liquid here shortly. Two things that drive me bonkers. One, you and I have talked about this a lot, is let's start with GA4. I love GA4. Anyone that knows me, I'm a bit of a GA4 nerd. No problem at all. Love it to death. If I have to hear one more person bitch and complain that their Amazon advertising sucks because they're measuring in GA4, I'm going to take the straw out of my cup and I'm going to stab you with it. That's what's going to happen. Okay, not really, but probably yes. But that's not how you measure. That's not how you measure Amazon. But as someone that loves love-hate relationship with GA4, I know that's not the case. And yet we get so ingrained that it's the end-all be-all when that's not. There's many things it doesn't track. Even stuff in the Google ecosystem. If you're doing Google Ads versus Google Analytics, they're going to be different. So stop measuring your damn traffic, your Amazon traffic out of GA4 and then blaming someone saying it's not working. Well, no. Sorry, you're the idiot. You're the idiot. Learn maybe. Okay. There's my rant.
All right. It's that was a bit aggressive. But I will say this. It is square peg round hole, like we talked about on the show.
Yeah.
Right. Think about the other DSPs out there. And when we're talking about Amazon traffic, let's just talk about overall programmatic traffic, whether it's Trade Desk or Roku, Hulu, Samsung, any DSP, Amazon DSP, etc. Why is Amazon traffic the only one that we grade in GA4, but we don't grade Trade Desk?
Yeah.
It's interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other thing, when you're doing marketing from the Amazon DSP, you're using what's called Amazon Publisher Services, which directly competes with the Google Display Network and DV360, right? And to give you an example of the backwards version is we do DV360 at Loon. We have the availability to run YouTube, YouTube TV, etc. It's one of the placements we have out there. We are rolling that out right now. Do you know what looks really bad in Amazon's reporting?
Google 360.
Correct. Shocker, right?
Yeah, but that works.
So it's interesting that each individual company's reporting looks better in their respective platforms to be expected. But the thing with programmatic and where it doesn't meet the world of traditional marketing, which is digital marketing, is I look at paid search and Facebook and all these things as more traditional marketing elements at this point. We're all doing it, right? It's digital. That doesn't make sense with the big screen experience. And with the way that you can target customers within programmatic marketing, OTT, etc., there are better mechanisms, such as in dealership actions. So why am I looking into an analytics platform that's built to make Google look great? I'll just say it. To make
spend more money.
Yeah, and spend more money. I've never heard a paid search person say spend less. I have a few. That was an exaggeration. I apologize. Call me after the show. But there's better mechanisms. There's a clean room. We have a clean room where we can see every impression and who it was served to. We have first-party data ingestion from the dealership or bulk sales or service RO ingestion. Wouldn't you rather know how many of your customers, your leads, your prospects were exposed to ads and then went into your store and took an action, such as, submitted a lead, made a phone call, did a write-up, bought a car, completed a service? Wouldn't you rather know how many of those people you influenced than a metric that isn't made to grade the type of traffic and the type of marketing? Programmatic marketing, OTT, Amazon, etc., is built to drive actions in the store.
Yep.
And that's the point. I don't care how they get to the store. And the other thing we got to think about, Brooke, and you deal with dealerships. You're a phenomenal consultant and you deal with dealerships. There is no silver bullet. There are media mixes that work. So you need to make sure that you're thinking about that when you at the dealership are creating your ad campaigns, right? Thank you, Joe Akers. And they called me Woody earlier. I hope you're.
I know.
But it's part of the complete media mix. So guess what? When I do my job right and we crush it for our customers, the search company wins because the paid search is better because we're creating search intent. And then let's talk about a couple other things that programmatic can do that others can't. They create search intent. Let me repeat that one. Create search intent. Paid search, organic search. The people have to be in market for what you're looking for and then typing it in and searching for it, right? That's very, very low funnel. How do you help dealers sell the cars that are hard to sell? I was a Ford dealer. I always would say, I don't need help with F-150s.
Nope.
Crushing it on F-150s. What I needed help with was, I was in Montana, help me with any type of sedan.
Yeah, okay.
Because I can't sell those to save my life. If I rely on search for that and no one's searching for that, I am not going to sell that car. I need to create demand for that vehicle. And that's what you can do with OTT. And then as those people get into the market, they go into, like we talked about, a more offers-based in market. So we brand them, we educate them. Maybe we do some walk-around videos and creative on that. Try to get them from another manufacturer. But how do you sell the tough stuff? What if you have a service department with empty bays? What if you have a service department that's packed? They're all different use cases, and we have to think about it accordingly. In-market actions. I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, and this is going back, I don't know, probably 2 years ago. And I'm at a DEP had hosted some Amazon thing. And so I happened to be there, and Gino gets up and proceeds to say, and I'm going to screw these numbers up. He's like, okay, for Chicagoland, what do you think, how many people are searching for the term, I'll say Honda for sale near me? There's something along that line. So Chicago, I'm like, oh, God, that's like thousands, probably millions. It was less than 1,000. Let's put it that way. I think it was less than 100. I was blown away by that stat. So it's like, if you're only spending, and Google ads, I'm not saying go stop your Google ads. I'm not saying that at all. It has its place. That being said, Amazon advertising and doing this type of streaming is another tool in your tool belt, because if you're only reaching 10% of the people that are actually in market, what happens to the other 90% you're throwing down money on? You can reach them through Amazon. You can reach them through a top OTT, whatever you want to call it, the streaming services out there. You can reach them through that. And that was like that aha moment. Like, I already believed in Amazon, but it's like, that is crazy when you start, once again, because you and I are very data-driven people, to be like, wait, no one's really even searching that term. But yet that dealership that we found that out about, man, their numbers skyrocketed because of how the Amazon advertising was overlapped. Yeah, let's go with that, into the other
part of the media mix. Part of the media mix. That's fantastic. And now let's segue that into something else, because we said Amazon a lot, and we use the Amazon DSP heavily. We also use other DSPs, but we like the Amazon DSP the best because of the targeting capabilities that come out. Right. The audiences, the targeting, the fact that it is the most targeted and the fastest growing DSP out there. But there's an educational standpoint that hasn't been touched on, which is, just because it's the Amazon DSP doesn't mean I can't serve you an ad on your Spectrum device, on your Zoom. Doesn't mean I can't get in front of you on DirecTV. Doesn't mean I can't get in front of you on Roku. So there's things out there and mechanisms that we can actually deliver ads out of the Amazon DSP with the specific targeting, and placements go through the roof, and we can put them on anywhere we want. We can get you any placement. So one thing I wanted to talk about on the show today was placements. So we at Loon, we see great results with Spectrum, right? Spectrum, live sports, live news, those types of things, right? Good stuff. There is value there, right? So we have deals with them. We have deals with Paramount. We have deals with HBO. We have deals with ESPN. We have deals with all these publishers that allow us to use their inventory, but buy it through the Amazon DSP because of the fact that you have the targeting, the measurement that comes along with it. Now we're going into March. Anything big happen in March in the sports world?
This little thing called March Madness that saves the entire NCAA. Let's be honest. Yes.
Absolutely. So March Madness is coming, right? And I want to talk about that for a second, because everybody's reaching out saying, hey, I want to be on March Madness. Really expensive placement. Really expensive placement. We can get you it if you want to, but how about we do something better? And something better is we look at the audiences that are consuming the media live on live sports. We then take that audience and that type of programming, but then we hit them on other programs. So we know they watched March Madness. We know they're into that game, but if you're watching, who's your favorite college team?
UNC Tar Heels.
UNC Tar Heels. This is a prime example. This is perfect. You're watching UNC play Duke, right? Let's say it's the Elite Eight, right?
Okay.
You're honed in. You're ready, right? This is the game. They're playing it in Raleigh or Charlotte or something, so it's going bonkers. If I serve you an ad during that game live, I don't think you're going to consume it well.
No,
because you're focused in on that game. However, you're in my target audience, and I want to be able to market to you. Why wouldn't I take the data that I can get off of that and then target market to you as a sports watcher later on other programming on your device at home, but knowing you're in that market. So you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for a live TV placement to get in front of the person that you wanted to get in front of on that live TV placement. And to take it one step further, hit you at a time when you're ready to consume the media.
Yes.
I don't know if you're ready to consume the media during that. So it's a high cost, sells great, sounds awesome, right? Like we get you on there. Oh man, you know everybody's going to see you. No, they're running to the bathroom. They're doing other things because they're locked into the game. They're not ready to be engaged. So let's take that segment, let's take that audience, take that exact spectrum you watcher and hit them with other ads on other programs, etc. So some other ways to maximize live sports at a much lower cost. And those are the things providers need to educate our dealers on is you don't have to be on the event to get in front of the people that watch you.
No.
And let them consume it at a time they're ready. Your drink is empty.
I know. There's a little bit. It will be switching out here shortly. I've got a few more meetings, but no. And that's too often is we want, it's Monday Night Football. And we talked about this before. Like traditionally, if you ask someone where should you spend your money? Oh, news, sports. Well, that's not where your people are. Like they may be, but until you know like exactly where they are, they could be watching a completely different channel that's not even Discovery Channel, and you're like 90% of your people are watching Discovery Channel. Great. Now you know not only how to market to them, that gives you a massive insight to what type of clientele and how to craft your message accordingly. But if you just do the old school, I want news and I want Monday Night Football. Okay. Kind of old way of doing it. There's a better way to do it. And being, you brought up the, is it cake? I mean, that was a great example like that. What I'm getting served as I'm streaming stuff is different than if you go to the box and say, okay, if I'm watching on TV and it's the actual cable, it's the commercials are very, very, very different. So being there where the consumer is, the right time, right place, and of course, right message.
Yeah. And when they want to consume it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want my MTV.
Exactly. I want my MTV to have music on it. That's what I would like.
Yeah, they don't do that. It just plays ridiculousness over and over and
which
over.
I'm okay with ridiculous, love it, but I do miss my music. It's, good old days of the 80s and 90s, my friend.
Well, get on Spotify.
Yeah, well, that's usually I've got like a Sonos here. I've got like Sonos is all in my apartment, and that's always playing music. Like I would do Audible, like I should. I'm like, I want my music. Like if I don't know, that's a whole other story for another day. But yes, be where the consumer is. And once actually, no joke about the speakers, that's the same thing too. Like this was I think Dusty and I had this conversation probably 2 years ago, if not more. And we were just discussing the differences of having streaming audio and how to place ads there. And no one was really doing it. And we were just talking like the pros and cons. I go, especially during pandemic, everybody was sitting home. So why weren't people doing this? 1 second here. Speaking of Spotify. Oh no, Brian, okay. Brian, we're going to have to look this up here later. We will definitely look that up, and that because it's in LinkedIn, I will click on that. Yes, Taco Cat. Jeff, between your birthday every week and Taco Cat spelled backwards as Taco Cat, that's like the two I've decided that are your go-to every single time. I love it. Check out is this the President's Day wrap? Brian, I'm hoping it is. It's got to be. He's
so good. Next time we'll just bring Brian on with us.
Yes, there you go. Well, it's true. That's true. What else are we missing here? I know we've covered a lot. Anything else we need to cover that we haven't talked about? I'm
just going to say something. If you're out there and you're watching this and you're confused by this whole programmatic streaming TV space, blah, 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 reach out to me, reach out to Brooke, ask some questions. Ask questions. I tell our dealers all the time, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. They'll say, man, I feel like I'm asking a lot of questions. I go, you should.
Yeah, you should.
You should.
And if someone is upset that you're asking questions, that should be a pretty neon bright, bold red flag that there might be an issue and that's more of a vendor than a partner. So I would want my people to ask questions. Always want them to ask questions. That gives me a chance to train them, to educate them.
And we're going to ask a lot of questions about why you're on the call with us, right?
Yes.
We're going to have questions. We are not going to get on a call and do the whole, hey, you want to spend 30 grand on OT? Okay, cool. We'll run it. No, that seems like a large budget. What is this all about? How are we breaking this up? What is the goal of the campaign? I'm going to have 273 questions for you for the goals. So have a few for me as well. There's nothing wrong with questions. It's how you better serve people, and it's how you understand. And I've always been taught this. If you can't explain something simply, it means you don't understand it.
You don't understand it.
People you're talking to are having a hard time explaining the concept simply. It's because they don't understand, which probably a red flag.
Yeah. Well, and that is something that I was just dealing with this morning, of trying to educate the dealer behind the scenes of like, hey, this is what I know. They just said all of this. This is what it means. So take what you want to do with it, but this is what it actually means. And I've been on both sides where you've got a great partner that's like, hey, they screwed up. We screwed up. We own it. Let's figure out how we're going to fix it. Or, hey, as we're going into this, let's ask those questions, because you and I get asked all the time. It doesn't matter if it's advertising, any type of advertising. Oh, one, how much should I spend? And then how am I tracking it? Well, if someone just goes in and says, hey, stroke a check, run as fast as you can from that. They need to, without asking any questions, they need to know your geography. They need to know your pain points, know what vehicles. They need to know, there's so much discovery that has to take place before you can ever throw down a legitimate budget that's going to actually work, because you know nothing about that, and just say, oh, it's $5,000. So you're saying someone in South Dakota should spend $5,000 and someone in downtown Chicago should spend $5,000, because that makes logical sense, obviously.
Import store versus domestic store.
That's a good question. So for those that, if you're watching and you're not seeing this, Jeff just asked, James, is your hat collection supposed to match the color palette of the painting on the wall? It is really close. So take that one, buddy.
No, just total coincidence. And Jeff, thanks for asking. No one's ever brought up that painting before. That painting is actually, it was in my dad's office for 25 years when he was with the Department of Justice on Capitol Hill. And when he retired, he passed it down to me. So I keep it up in my office. And it's from our old golf club from growing up in Michigan. So it's a really special painting to us, but that's really cool. But no, total coincidence, but thanks for calling it out.
Well, and Jeff, I don't know if you watched or listened to the end of the episode. James has a bit of a hat addiction, and that will be a rotating palette behind him. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, it's kind of, there's only one hat that remains on everyone and everything else. And it's the only non-golf course hat back there. There's only one that never gets removed. And it is this one. It is the Pauly Strong hat. It's my buddy Paul Jimenez's nonprofit. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. It's very special to me. It's very special to a lot of us in the industry. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole. Go look up Paul. Pauly Strong is what it's called. That's awesome. That's the only one that doesn't change. But the rest are just my favorites. So they're my top 20 right now.
I love it.
But they rotate.
Well, love you. And I knew that you liked hats. I knew obviously you're a big golfer. So I figured like the golf apparel. I did not know it was like my Jordan addiction. Like you have a ton of hats, like a lot of hats. Correct.
It's a lot. But they bring back great memories.
See, I justify that all the time.
Like I would give someone, if somebody knows, I would give them a free month of like $2,000 of free Amazon ads or OGT or programmatic. If somebody can tell me what the hat I'm pointing at, if they can name the club or the person who's mentioned on it, says DROSS, I would hook them up, but nobody's going to get it.
No one's going to get it. Well, now they're going to go Google that shit, but yeah. They're like, oh, wait. Good luck. Okay, so we've talked about hats. We talked about Amazon. We're 41 minutes into this at this point. Anything else we need to discuss?
There's more to come. There's so much more to come. The space is exploding. Everybody in there, everybody's going to end up running streaming TV. So all I'm going to say is make sure you're partnering with the right people. Make sure you're partnering with people with your best interests in place.
Yes.
And that they're looking to be your long-term partner. And educate yourself, reach out, educate more.
And with that, as you educate, please, and if you don't know how to do this, reach out to either of us. You all know my information. I've flashed James stuff up here multiple times. Just because someone says they're running something for you, they will take your check. It doesn't matter if it's programmatic, if it's advertising. I don't care what they're doing. Doesn't mean they're actually doing it. So whatever you need to do to inspect that, do that. And then when it comes to Amazon or OTT or streaming, whatever you want, all this fun stuff, it is a little bit of the wild, wild west. So make sure that you do partner. If you have questions, reach out to us. James, if you're looking at someone else, well, James is obviously going to want you to go with Loon. I get that. He's also going to be like, hey, ask these questions, because not more times. I would love to say this has happened only once and that was it. That happens more times than I can count, that a dealership is paying for some service and it is not happening at all. So really do your due diligence to understand, is this happening or not? So there's my serious moment for the point. Draw stress for less. It's okay. So we got Ross. We've got keep up. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy. Dr. Oz.
No.
No, just shakes head. That's a hard no. No.
Nope, not even close.
So everyone, keep the comments coming, and we're gonna sign off here. We'll get back to our wonderful Friday here, but reach out to James if you do in fact know who that is and what that's representing.
I will be very impressed. I will be very impressed if somebody gets it. Kind of a fun fact. I don't know what you mean by that. I ain't trying to start no stuff. I'm just a guy on the show. But no, look, I want to thank you. Thanks for having me on. I know we got a little goofy today, but that's what we are. We're real people.
That's what we do.
Real people. We're there. We're passionate. I can't thank you enough for having me on. And I look forward to seeing you out there on the road here soon.
I will hopefully see you at DMSC. That's probably next time I see you. I'm hoping. No, maybe. Okay. Maybe not DMSC. Well, I do have to be in Minnesota at some point. So I'm waiting for it to warm up just a little bit before I head up your direction. So
come on up.
See you in June. So
thanks, everybody.
All right, everyone. You know the drill at this point. Find a way to serve today, whether that's just opening a car door or doing something to smile, to do something to bring a little bit of joy into someone else's life. Just be someone's happiness today. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.